Good evening, and welcome to our fourth episode of Ghastly Creatures, the case of the Delilah Debacle. Enjoy our finale, for now. Our story begins on the final evening of the Boone family's charter on the yacht Delilah. Mr. Desmond and Mrs. Vita Boone prepare in their cabin for a lavish dinner with their son Bradley and his fiancée, Miss Jill Allen.
Desmond?
Yes, Vita.
Dinner will be served in the main salon tonight. Winds are apparently going to exceed 11 knots by 2 in the morning.
And this was the news you couldn't wait to tell me.
Well, I didn't want you wandering around the sun deck while dinner was being served.
I appreciate your concern for me.
Of course. While we wait, would you like to walk with me?
Vita, if this is about last night...
Desmond, last night was last night. We don't have to speak about it.
I just want you to know I didn't mean anything by it. I was drunk.
I forgive you, Desmond. Frankly, in the last 5 years, this is the least I've had to forgive.
So, how about that walk?
I just wanted to get another view of the ocean before we'll be secured in our cabins for the night.
Hell of a way to end a charter, huh?
Well, it's been very pleasant so far. Most of the crew seem quite congenial.
Congenial to what, dear?
Well, my expectations of a deckhand: aloof, unobtrusive, and obedient.
Well, I had hoped they would be. This yacht came highly recommended by my stockbroker.
I hope I'll be able to thank him.
Jill and Bradley have been sipping Mai Tais on the sun deck when Bradley's past appears in the form of an unassuming stewardess.
I still can't believe that of all the yachts in the North Atlantic, you're working on our yacht.
Life is full of surprises.
Bradley, how do you know Tara again?
But Jill, it's not really that exciting.
Oh, but it is. The likelihood of all of this is minuscule. Tell me.
Tara?
Bradley and I knew each other at uni. I was a foreign exchange student for a year.
Riveting.
I love serendipity. Tara, what were you studying?
I do apologize, Miss Ellen
Oh, please, call me Jill.
Jill, but I've got dinner service to prepare. We're relocating to the main salon.
Oh, by all means. Hop to it.
Thank you.
Must you be so condescending?
Excuse me?
Hop to it? She's a deckhand, for God's sakes, not a maid.
Big words coming from you, Bradley. You couldn't even remember where you knew her from. If you hadn't been staring so awkwardly at her, I wouldn't have felt the need to press. But she looked as embarrassed for you as I did.
Fine. You've got the moral high ground.
And yet, I'm the one who's being rude for dismissing her back to work.
I get it. You win.
At least I didn't pretend not to know someone I went to school with for a year.
Okay, enough, Jill.
You need another drink. You look like you've been dragged through the Great Barrier Reef. Stewardess.
While Bradley sucks down a second Mai Tai, Vita is forced to make an onerous decision. Wishing she still had the siren song of her youth, Vita must instead resort to her usual nagging to permeate the beeswax in her Odysseus's ears.
What do you think, Desmond?
Hmm?
Well, the pearls or the diamonds?
Who are you trying to impress?
Well, nobody, I guess.
I'm sorry, V. I have a lot on my mind.
Desmond, this whole trip was so you could take a load off of it.
I know. I've been thinking about the future of Boone Enterprises.
Bradley will fill your shoes, Des. You raised him right.
See, I'm not so sure about that.
Bradley's made some mistakes, but he's learned from everyone.
Well, it's not that I don't think he's capable, V. I'm just not sure how much he wants it.
You've promised him the company since he was a little boy. You can't back out now.
But perhaps that was the problem. Maybe I pressured him. Maybe Boone Enterprises is what I wanted for him, not what he wants for himself.
Des, tonight isn't the time to dive into the existential whirlpool. Just have a shot of whiskey and try to relax.
You're right, Vita. You're always right.
I know, Des. Drink up.
As Jill departs to freshen up for dinner, Bradley finally has a moment alone and breathes in the salty air of the ocean, soothing his nerves that, over a week of constant exposure to Jill, resemble a herd of sea urchins. His brief respite is disturbed by Tara's dinner service duties.
Dinner will be served shortly in the main salon, sir.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was just getting some air. Don't mind me.
Yeah, of course, sir.
Tara, you don't have to call me that.
It's protocol, sir.
After all we've been through, break protocol.
I've got to lay the tablecloths.
Wait, Tara, wait.
I'm on a schedule, Bradley.
That's better.
What is it?
Can we maybe talk alone? After your shift ends, of course.
I won't be done with dinner service until 11:30.
I can wait.
Won't Jill wonder why you're not in your cabin?
Jill's nightly routine takes 3 hours between the sanding and the buffing and the waxing.
Okay. I guess we'd have to acknowledge this weird twist of fate eventually.
Exactly. I mean, it is spooky.
And maybe it's time for closure?
Yeah, maybe.
I've got to go. I guess I'll meet you here.
It's supposed to be a nasty storm tonight. Maybe I'd better come to your cabin.
Lucy is working the night shift, so I guess that'll work.
Lucy.
My cabin mate.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the stewardess with the Coke bottle glasses.
Oh, yeah, I've seen her.
It's hard to miss her. I'll see you later then. Be careful not to let the captain see you below deck in our quarters. Relations with guests is a big no-no.
Oh, but I'm not.
No, I know. You're not. It's just it'll look bad.
I understand.
Yeah, I'll see you later then.
I see you.
As dinner concludes, Tara begins to clear the table. As a clownfish weaves within an anemone, she's perfected the art of being unobtrusive, yet not unnoticed.
My compliments to the chef, Tara. This was to die for.
I let him know. Thank you, Mrs. Boone.
We'll just be visiting here for a bit, Tara, before we retire. Is that all right?
By all means, Mrs. Boone. We'll try not to intrude.
Thank you, dear. My, what a sweet girl, and such a darling accent. Desmond, what's that accent?
How should I know?
She's from Sydney.
Australia?
Yeah.
Bradley went to university with her.
Oh, small world! Bradley, why didn't you mention it? I would have been more amicable.
She's working, Ma. I didn't think it was important.
Bradley, I thought I taught you to be hospitable. That would have been pertinent information.
Well, I think it's fine to maintain professional relationships.
You're not one to talk, Des.
Mr. Boone, have you thought at all about your retirement?
A little, Jill, but the matter mainly concerns my son.
Oh, I understand.
Have you two thought about where you'd like to spend your honeymoon after the big day?
We haven't decided.
I want to go to Paris, but Bradley is set on Italy.
I'm not set on anything. I said I'd think about it.
He's just being indecisive as always. After a year and a half, I'm used to it.
Ladies, would you mind if Bradley and I have a moment alone?
Oh, not at all. It's time for my evening face mask as it is. Bradley, I'll see you in our cabin later. Don't fall asleep on the deck like you did last night.
I won't, dear.
All right, then. Good night, Mr. and Mrs. Boone.
Des, I'll be in our cabin too. Don't stay out too late. Wind seems to be picking up.
It'll only be a minute, Vita. Let's take a walk, son. Now, Bradley, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me.
Always, Pop. What's the matter?
It's Boone Enterprises, son, and the future.
Pop, I already told you. I'm happy to take over the business.
I know you say that, Bradley, but I can't help but feel I'm pushing you into a job that's not in your best interest.
Why do you say that?
Bradley, you're about to get married, have a family. I gave my whole life to this business, and because of that, I never really had enough time for you. I feel like I didn't even start really talking to you until you finished grad school.
Well, we both had our own lives, Pop. That's not the business's fault.
What I'm saying, Bradley, is I don't want to force you into this. I've got regrets. I gave up days and nights to the almighty dollar, and for that, I paid dearly.
You've got a great life, Pop. You gave that to all of us.
At what cost? And what defines great? Great money, great houses, great cars, great vacations. But in the meantime, my marriage with your mother went to hell. I can't stand one evening alone with her without booze, and I hardly know my own son. But I know enough to know that Boone Enterprises is not your dream.
Well, dreams make you poor, Pop. You taught me that.
And I'm regretting even that, Bradley. You aren't made for this job. You can do so much better, so much more.
I doubt that, Pop. You built a dynasty. It would be an honor to fill your shoes.
That's what you think now.
Well, that's what I know.
It would be a curse, and I can't do it to you.
Pop.
I've decided to pass the torch to my chief executive. He's got a mind and a constitution for this work. His dream is to own one of these damn things. He doesn't want a family or a wife or anything of substance.
Wait. You're giving the business to Sheldon?
Yes.
I can't believe this, Dad. After everything I've done has been for you, for this company.
And that's the problem, son. You've never done anything just for yourself. Now I'm giving you the chance.
You're giving me the shaft.
One day, I hope you'll understand.
God, I hope you haven't put this decision down on paper.
I settled it with the board of directors and legal last week. I'll sign once I'm back in the office.
Last week?
Yes.
You mean you knew all this charter and you didn't tell me?
I tried to find the right time.
God damn it, Dad. What am I going to tell Jill?
Tell her the truth.
The truth.
If she loves you, she'll understand.
Okay. I've had enough of this. I got to take a walk.
I'm sorry, son.
I'm sorry, too.
Cabin mates for the last year, Tara and Lucy typically got along below deck, but as Tara impatiently waits for a moment alone, she begins to picture Lucy's head as a giant barnacle on a baleen whale's backside.
Lucy, I thought you were working night shift.
Oh, I am. Sorry, Tara. I'll be out of your hair in a sec.
What are you looking for?
My cleaning solution for my glasses. With all the wind, the mist has been fogging me up on deck.
Oh, I think I saw it in the bathroom sink.
Oh, goodness, I'm hopeless. It was right there the whole time. Thanks, Tara.
Lucy, I need to ask a favor.
What's up?
So you know the young man in the Boone party.
Hell yeah, that Bradley Boone. Boy, wouldn't I like to boon him right to the
Yeah, I get the picture.
right to the moon.
Yeah, I'm seeing him tonight. He's coming here.
Ooh, Tara, that's against the rules.
I know, but you gotta understand.
Oh, I understand. You want to see Bradley Boone's full moon.
Oh, it is not like that.
Oh, sure it isn't. I see the way he looks at you.
You can't see anything.
I'm not the brightest bulb, Tara, but I'm not naive.
Listen, we went out in college. Things ended horrifically, and we haven't spoken in 3 years.
Ooh, drama. I never get to be a part of the drama.
Well, I'm glad I could give you the privilege.
What happened?
I knew I'd only be there for a year, and stupidly I got involved with him, and we fell in love, and then I had to leave, and I couldn't tell him. So I didn't.
So you just left?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. I tried convincing myself it was just a fling, that it wouldn't matter to him, but it did, and he found out where I was going to school in Australia, and I got a letter from him a month later.
How romantic.
Oh, I never wrote back.
Tara.
I know. The whole thing was just so painful, and finally I called him after 3 months, and he was so angry with me, he hung up. We haven't spoken since. Well, since the first day of this charter.
My, oh my. This is a downright harlequin romance. Okay. I'll scoot my boot. You just send me a text when it's all clear. I'll be on duty till 7 in the morning, so I'll try not to tangle your lines.
Thanks, Lucy.
But if he lays anchor, you better tell me.
Deal?
I don't want to fall off the boardwalk while he's in your port.
Oh, good night, Lucy.
Good night.
Tara, I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, you're anything but late, Bradley. It's been 3 years.
I just got some earth-shattering news.
What's wrong?
Dad isn't giving me the company.
What?
Yeah, he says it will kill my dreams.
Well,
I mean, like, who the hell does he think he is? A mind reader? I mean, my whole life, I've built for this moment, and now it's just gone.
Bradley, I hate to sound bold, but 3 years ago you hated the whole idea.
Well, that was then, Tara. This is now. All this work down the drain.
Well, maybe. Maybe this is exactly what you need.
Exactly what I need? Tara, I need a job. I'm going to have a wife to support. And I'm losing it here. I mean, she's worse than a goddamn car payment.
Yeah, now take on a mortgage.
Not funny.
Bradley, is this really what you came here to talk to me about?
No. Well, sort of. Seeing you, it brought back a lot of memories.
You, me too.
And seeing your face again, God, it made my head spin. And I thought I could handle it, but now this. Tara, I don't know who the hell I am anymore.
3 years have gone by, Bradley. I don't even know who you are anymore.
Oh God, I don't know what I was doing coming down here. I'm sorry. I'll go.
Stop, Bradley.
Okay.
Sit down.
Okay.
Just breathe.
I'd rather have a drink.
No booze in crew cabins.
Always such a stickler for the rules.
Well, at least not in the presence of guests.
Well, can't you break the rules for me once? What have you got?
Okay, it would mean breaking the rules for you twice. I've got schnapps.
I would prefer to drink seawater.
And that's why I drink it. No one steals it.
No, fair. Tara, why did you leave me?
I didn't want to. Bradley, I couldn't afford to stay. I had to go home.
But you didn't even warn me. Like, you didn't even tell me.
Well, I didn't think it would mean that much to you.
How could you think that?
I didn't want it to mean that much to you.
You meant everything to me.
And I couldn't accept it. I chickened out, Bradley. I'm sorry. I couldn't break your heart.
So you torched it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. I should have called you. I should have done more.
I didn't want you to. It was horrible enough as it was.
I completely gave up after you left, Tara.
You seem to have done pretty well for yourself. I'd hardly call that giving up.
I gave up on me, Tara. I quit painting. I hawked my guitar. I completely sold out everything I was for the suit and tie vision that Pop had for me. Always counted on.
I am sorry, Bradley, but that is not my fault.
No, I'm not. I know. I'm not blaming you, Tara. I'm stating facts. And now I'm stuck.
Well, just because your dad won't give you the company doesn't mean he can't find another one.
Well, it's not just the job, Tara. I've built my whole life on everything I'm not.
Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. It's a big, fat, killer whale of a problem.
An arsonist orca.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to do?
God,
I'm so sorry, Tara, but we have a problem.
What is it?
I was cleaning the windows and I heard a splash.
The winds are at least 7 knots. Lucy, the storm's just picking up.
No, Tara, they're not that bad yet. I was packing up the sun deck for the night, and I swear to you, I heard a splash.
We can't wake up the captain for no reason, Lucy.
Tara, can I have a moment alone?
Anything you need to say, you can say in front of Bradley.
This should really be between us for now.
Okay. I am sorry. Bradley, can we talk before you leave tomorrow morning? Maybe before breakfast service.
Sure. I'll go back to my cabin.
Thank you. I'm sorry about all this.
It's fine. I'll see you in the morning.
Lucy, I'm fine. You didn't have to make up an excuse for bed checks.
No, Tara, actually, we need to do just that.
What are you talking about?
Well, Tara, when I started to work on the sun deck, Mr. Boone was sitting by the hot tub alone, and I wished him good night, and now he's gone.
He probably went to bed.
I'm not so sure. Please, Tara, help me with this.
Okay. Just let me put on my uniform. It's a little after 1, so hopefully folks won't be too disturbed. We can say it's precautionary for the storm.
See, this is why I come to you.
Okay.
Trying to prevent a panic, the deckhands dress in their evening uniforms, attempt to maintain a calm before the storm, and ascend from the cabins to perform another routine bed check.
Mrs. Boone? Good evening, Mrs. Boone.
Good heavens! It's after 1 in the morning. What's this all about?
Wind speeds are going to exceed 11 knots, Mrs. Boone. It is a precautionary measure to ensure all guests are safe within their cabins.
Well, I'm just fine. Thank you, dear.
And Mr. Boone?
He's still wandering about as usual, I'm sure.
Thank you, Mrs. Boone. We'll be sure he returns to his cabin immediately.
Thank you.
Bradley, I'm so sorry. Miss Ellen, I need to talk to you.
Tara, now's not a really good time.
There isn't going to be a better one.
Have you seen your father since you last spoke to him?
No, I'm sure he went to bed.
He didn't.
What?
I don't know how to say this.
Say what?
Man overboard!
Wait, you can't be serious.
What is going on, Brady?
I need to go talk to my mother. Maybe he's with her.
We just checked. I wanted to make sure he wasn't with you.
We need to alert the captain immediately.
Nauseated by this nautical nuisance, Inspector Poupée has slurped down Pepto-Bismol in preparation to brief Officer DuPont on their latest coastline case.
DuPont!
Inspector, I'm telling you, this gift basket from the Bensons is just fantastic. Try a praline.
How did they find a rookie just like Duran? Of all the cases in the world, he takes his vacation days now. Have you looked over these case files?
Not yet.
I'm going to be sick.
I'm sorry, sir. Duran left some huge shoes to fill.
Not you. It's my gut.
I told you to lay off the turtles.
No, I mean I'm going to be seasick.
Huh?
We got a new case. Mrs. Donatello called. A missing person case on her yacht. She's brought it back to port at the Constitution Marina in Boston. We got to be there to meet her tomorrow morning.
I've never even seen a yacht.
Yeah, I hate boats. Be lucky I don't feed the fishes before we step on the deck.
Then maybe pass on the pralines.
Yeah.
Poupée and DuPont have finally arrived at the marina to speak with Donatello, and Poupée is desperately determined to delay his departure from dry land.
So kind of you to meet with us, Mrs. Donatello.
No, thank you, Inspector Puppet.
It's Poupée.
My apologies. Would you like to meet Delilah?
Who?
My baby.
Your daughter?
No, of course not. Delilah is the name of my yacht.
Oh, excuse me.
Isn't she beautiful?
Yes, very.
She's just been fully cleaned, sparkling like a blue pearl.
It can wait.
I don't object to a tour. Won't it help with your research?
He's afraid he'll feed the fishes.
That's enough, DuPont. Say, why don't you stretch your sea legs and you check it out?
On my way.
Mrs. Donatello, would you mind filling me in? You say this is your yacht, but you weren't on the boat at the time of Mr. Boone's disappearance?
Oh, no, Inspector. I rarely charter more than twice a year. I merely own the yacht, and I rent it out to my fellow yachties.
I see.
It's very common, Inspector. It helps to curb cost.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever been yachting before, Inspector?
No, I prefer land sports.
I see. Then perhaps you should really tour the boat.
Yes, of course, Mrs. Donatello.
To avoid the risk of seeming unprofessional, Poupée ascends the deck of the Delilah, but the damning sway of the hull underneath proves overwhelming and renders the preemptive Pepto-Bismol pointless.
Please, Inspector, sit down. I'll get you a seltzer. My, you have a sensitive stomach.
My apologies, Mrs. Donatello. I'll swab the deck.
Oh, please, that's what my crew is for.
All right. Well, back to my questions.
Of course.
Did you know the Boones personally?
No, they were referred to me by my stockbroker. They were fellow clients.
I see.
But they came highly recommended. In fact, the whole charter was fairly eventful until that fateful night.
What do you know about it?
Well, I know it was supposed to be stormy, but my crew did bed checks to ensure everyone was in their cabins. The disappearance happened when the winds were at 7 knots, enough to rock you to sleep, but not to toss you overboard.
Is that what you suspect, Mrs. Donatello?
The family is threatening to sue me for my negligent crew, but it all seems so fishy to me. The captain swears the waters were barely disturbed by that time, let alone to make you seasick. But maybe you, Inspector. but not a seasoned yachty.
Yeah, sure.
Which is why the timing of Mr. Boone's disappearance seems hardly weather-related.
Well, Poupée, looks like you fed the fishes after all.
Uh-huh. What'd you find, DuPont?
No signs of a struggle. But I don't think Boone dove in himself. His swim trunks are piled in with the rest of his luggage.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mrs. Donatello, are you aware there aren't any security cameras on the sun deck?
Yes, there's hardly need for one there. It's an open, communal area, and with unpredictable weather, I'm not about to pay for cameras that are going to be wind-battered and covered in salt.
I see.
In hindsight, it might have been a good investment.
Mrs. Donatello, might we speak with the crew for that night? And can we get in touch with the family?
Well, the Boones may be difficult to reach due to their sue-happy lawyer, but I'll give you their numbers. Hopefully, they'll talk to you quicker than they'll talk to me.
Thank you very much.
Like scuba divers exploring shipwrecks, Poupée and Dupont have assembled the family and crew to decipher the clues in the shambles of Mr. Boone's salty, somnolent swim.
Thank you all for agreeing to meet with us. I know this has been a difficult time for all of you.
Our sympathies on the murder of Mr. Boone.
Well, DuPont, it's a disappearance.
Oh, give me a break, Poupée. The man went overboard.
No body, no murder.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Enough with the formalities. Let's just get this over with.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been stuck in this hotel long enough while this investigation just drags on. Please, be brief.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't believe your audacity. Making us meet with the crew? Ugh, how utterly insulting after all we've been through.
Bill,
No, Bradley, it's downright insensitive.
Well, then let's just jump right in, shall we?
Oh,
all right, officers, let's give the women a minute. You can start with me.
Thank you, Bradley. Can I call you Bradley?
That's my name.
Excellent. Please step into my office. Well, as you were all on the yacht at the time of Mr. Boone's demise, Bradley, can you tell me where you were at the time?
I was in my cabin with Jill.
And Jill is?
My fiance.
So you can both vouch for each other at the time of the incident?
Yes, sir.
Bradley, can you tell me a little bit more about your father?
It's sad, really. We didn't start to get to know each other until last year.
Is that so?
Our relationship was mostly business. It was my dad's entire life.
I see.
And the last conversation we had was not the one I hoped would be our last.
Okay, now tell me more about that.
I mean, he really just had my best interest in mind, Inspector, and sometimes that meant not giving me what I thought I wanted. But I ended up with it anyway.
Okay, how do you mean?
Well, Pop had always intended to give me the family business, but he realized before I did that it wasn't really what I wanted. He had made arrangements for his CEO to take over in his retirement.
Okay, so how did you end up with it?
The charter ended before he could sign the papers.
I see.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. I've already made arrangements to sell. If there's anything I can do for him now, it's to give him his last wish.
And what was that?
To start a family, be there for them, and to do what makes me happy. Although that emotion eludes me right now.
It'll take some time. So was that conversation the last time you saw Mr. Boone?
Yes.
Well, Bradley, I think that's all for now. Please send in Jill.
But she was with me.
I just want to hear her perspective on the matter. Send her in.
Yes, sir.
may I ask why you're starting with the immediate family? I thought the crew was to be held liable for their horrible negligence.
Please, Miss Allen, I'm only trying to get a wider perspective.
Fine.
So you've been engaged to Bradley for how long?
6 months.
Any honeymoon plans?
No. After this whole ordeal, Bradley refuses to travel outside of the continental United States.
Yeah, it's understandable.
If you say so.
Bradley says that you were in your cabin at the time of the incident.
Yes, I was in my cabin all night after dinner. I have a routine.
A routine?
Yes, it's an apricot scrub followed by a cucumber face mask, a hydration mist, and an oil cleanse. It's all to enhance my natural glow.
I see.
I just had completed my misting when we got the news from Tara and Lucy.
Oh, the deckhands.
Yes, if you can even call them that.
To your knowledge, were they the last to see Mr. Boone?
As far as I know. Mr. Boone had a terrible habit of getting sloshed on the sun deck. I'm not going to bed until 3 a.m.
I see.
I can send them in if we're quite done here.
For now, Miss Allen, thank you. Tara and Lucy, thank you for joining me.
Anything we can do to help, sir?
Jill says you two may have been the last to see Mr. Boone. Is that true?
Well, technically, yes. I had just finished dinner service in return to my cabin, and Lucy was...
I was on night shift. I heard the splash, Inspector.
The splash?
Well, I was washing the windows during my nightly routine of packing up the sun deck when I heard it, and I rushed to Tara's cabin for help when I couldn't find Mr. Boone. He had just been sitting by the hot tub, sir.
Okay, so he just vanished?
Well, no, sir. He splashed.
Thank you for the clarification.
Well, it was dark, and I couldn't see much, but I know I heard it.
Is it possible he jumped?
Oh, I doubt it, sir. He seemed to have plans for his return after the charter.
Plans?
Well, I hate to admit it, Inspector, but as a crew member, sometimes you can't help but overhear bits and pieces of conversation. He was talking about signing legal documents upon landfall.
Did you hear any more about that?
Oh, I know, sir, but I also heard footsteps on my way down to our crew cabin. Well, I thought everyone was already in bed, but I figured maybe a guest had just gotten up for a snack, so I didn't think much of it. I was too worried to ask, which is terrible because I should have. It's my job.
Okay, did you see that person?
No. My darn glasses kept fogging up on deck. The mist is so bad when the wind picks up.
Okay, Tara, where were you at the time of the incident?
In my cabin? Alone?
Tara.
Lucy?
Tara, you have to tell him the truth.
Tara, if you have any knowledge that could help me in this case, it's imperative you let me know.
Please don't tell Jill.
Scout's honor.
I was with Bradley that night in my cabin.
Oh?
It's not what you think, Inspector. That's why this needs to stay between us. Jill would never understand.
Understand what?
Bradley and Tara used to date in college.
Lucy?
It's for your own good. You have an alibi. Oh, just ask Bradley, Inspector. They had unfinished business.
I see.
Please, Inspector. He's lost enough as it is. Don't make him lose his fiancée, too.
Okay, I understand. It's all for now, ladies. Please send in Mrs. Boone.
Yes, sir.
Find anything interesting, Inspector?
Oh, nothing particularly mind-blowing, Mrs. Boone. Please sit down.
Fine. I'm exhausted.
Bradley tells me he's selling the company that was willed to him.
He didn't really want it to begin with, I suppose.
Did you know about your husband's plans to pass the company to another executive?
By the time he let me know, it was too late to change his mind, Inspector.
So you didn't approve?
Bradley always tried so hard to live up to his father's expectations of him, practically beat himself down to a pulp to be able to fit into his father's mold for him.
That's interesting.
Not really. It's typical. My approval was never good enough for Bradley. It was given too freely, you see. The sun rose and set in his father, for better or worse.
So you agree with Mr. Boone's decision?
Agreed isn't the right word. I felt conflicted. Though Bradley showed so much promise, I honestly couldn't see him keeping the company for long. But I wanted Desmond to at least give him the chance.
Where were you at the time of the incident?
I was lying in bed in the cabin, waiting for Desmond.
Alone?
Why, yes, alone. I've been married 30 years, Inspector. My time for anything but flirting with deckhands is long past.
Okay, just one more question, Mrs. Boone. What time did Mr. Boone typically retire?
Oh, I honestly don't know, Inspector. I'm always asleep by 2. I usually wake up to find him next to me, and then I didn't.
Thank you. That's all for now, Mrs. Boone.
Well, any breakthroughs, Poupée?
It's a doozy, DuPont.
Tell me.
We need to map out some timelines. We got a lot of conflicting stories.
Lay them on me.
In a minute. Call in Bradley and keep it on the family. It wasn't a deckhand. I could smell it. It was one of their own.
You wanted to see me, Inspector?
Yeah, Bradley. We got some conflicting information.
Okay, listen, it wasn't her fault. I pushed her. We had to talk.
What do you mean?
Tara let me know about the alibi. It's true, sir. I was with her, but please, I don't want her to get canned. It wouldn't be fair.
Okay, let me get this straight. You're more worried about a deckhand's job than your future wife's opinion?
In all honesty, Inspector, before all this went down, I planned to end things with her when we got home. Can't be with her anymore.
I see. Does Miss Allen know about this?
Not at the moment. Sir, it's just been all so overwhelming.
Well, heartbreak is like a Band-Aid. Better just rip it off quick.
Noted, sir.
Send in DuPont.
You wanted to see me, Inspector?
Yeah, we need to review these crew logs from Donatello. Stories aren't matching up.
Like water in his ears, Poupée's advice lingers loudly in Bradley's brain.
Hey, Jill, can I talk to you for a second?
Sure, Braddy. What's going on? Were they just awful to you?
Jill, can we step outside?
Sure.
Bradley's attempts at delivering the news like a soft rain turns into a torrential downpour as Jill's maiden voyage to matrimony is dealt Poseidon's blow.
I will not stand for this, Bradley. I'm leaving.
One moment, Miss Allen.
No, I will not wait another minute. Bradley, could you, after all I've done for you? You're breaking up with me just like that. A year and a half wasted, and for what? So you can fly off to Australia to be this.
Okay, Jill, please.
This tramp.
Stop. Jill, this has nothing to do with Tara.
Oh, like hell it isn't. See the way that you look at her? And after everything I've done for you.
Wait, what have you ever done for me? Wait, you haven't even looked at me since I bought you the Mercedes.
God, you are so ungrateful.
Ungrateful for what?
I think I can answer that one for you, Bradley.
Now, what the hell are you talking about?
Miss Allen will be needing to take you down to county for further questioning.
Excuse me?
Jill, you threw poor Mr. Boone off the deck of the Delilah.
Oh, please.
Yeah, book a DuPont. I'll be down shortly.
Yes, sir.
Keep your hands off me. Bradley?
Wait, what the hell do you mean, Inspector?
Miss Allen here is the only one whose whereabouts were unaccounted for at the time of Mr. Boone's disappearance, Bradley, and she's the only one who knew the exact time he would typically go to bed, as verified by Mrs. Donatello's crew logs. Throughout the charter, all cabins were occupied by exactly 3 a.m., with the exception of your night spent on the sun deck, Bradley. Lucy heard footsteps after, to her knowledge, everyone had gone to bed with the usual exception of Mr. Boone. And as he has always been drinking heavily by that time, according to his bar receipts, it was very easy to just tip him overboard, especially during increasingly strong winds.
Jill, is this true?
Hardly. What about Vita?
You.
Actually, Miss Allen, Vita had ordered her usual nightcap to be delivered shortly after 1, as the log indicates. It was delivered to her cabin, which she generously tipped the stewardess for keeping the bar open late for her, which is credited to the kitchen's point of sale. Vita's whereabouts were indeed accounted for.
Jill, how could you?
I did it all for you, Bradley. For us. How could your father... How your father could even betray you like this is beyond me.
What? I hadn't even told you yet.
Bradley, I couldn't be your wife and not look out for you. I heard the whole thing. It was going to ruin everything once we hit land. I didn't have a choice. You deserve that company. You earned it. I couldn't let him take that all away from us, from you.
God, I can't even look at you.
Oh, but Braddy.
That's enough, Miss Allen. It's time to come with us. DuPont, her rights.
Yes, sir.
That's quite enough of Boston for me, Bradley. I'm going up to the room to pack.
Okay, Ma. I'll be right there. Tara, I am so sorry about all this.
You should be. Poor Tara hasn't slept in a week.
Lucy, I'll see you at the port.
Not until I've said one more thing.
Okay, Lucy.
Bradley, you dodged a bullet here today, and I might be as blind as a cavefish, but I can see an opportunity from a mile away. Don't miss it.
That Lucy is something else.
She's my best friend.
Tara, do you think that maybe we could catch up sometime?
Yeah, I'd like that.
How about tonight?
Bradley, you've been through a lot. How about you find yourself first and give me a call? You know where to find me.
So tomorrow night,
Bradley.
after 3 years and a homicidal fiance, I don't want to find anybody else but you.
This performance of Ghastly Creatures has been brought to you by a grant from the Elgin Cultural Arts Commission, whose mission is to expand and promote opportunities for local artists through grants, events, and public arts programs throughout the year. Special thanks to our season sponsors, Lunasec Photography, Blue Box Cafe, and the Martini Room for their support. Thank you, and good night. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for joining us for our finale. This has been a special show indeed, in that it marks the conclusion of our Ghastly series, at least in this format. For the last 7 months, we've been honored to help you laugh through these trying times with original content and a downright splendid cast of performers. Every like, comment, and share for our little series has encouraged us and helped us to press on and enjoy our art form. In a time when artists and performers everywhere have struggled to imagine the future, you have helped us to imagine and create in the present, and for that, we thank you.